Dr. Martinez Castro. Are you ready now?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, wonderful. The floor is yours.
Okay, good morning. Good morning here in Peru. Good night there. Then I will speak a little about the situations of glaciers in Peru. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
And afterwards, I will mention a case of a swing from a Peruvian peasant to a German company about climate change and its consequences. Okay, this is the global distribution of tropical glaciers. As you can see, most of these glaciers are concentrated in South America, and the overwhelming majority in Peru. That that shows the importance of glaciers in Peruvian hydrology and everyday life in Peru. Everything depends on glaciers. Then in South America, we have three zones of glaciers: the glaciers of mean latitude, the inner tropics, and the outer tropics. The influence of these glaciers is different from the point of view that they depend on seasonality. Then in the inner tropics, the seasonality is very marked. Then this is just a landscape of the glaciers in Peru. As you see, glaciers take thousands of years to form, but in a particularly small time they can disappear, as we can see now. This shows the loss of glacier surface in the last years, in the last decades, particularly in Peru. As you see, all the glacier all the glacier rafts are the rhythm of losing glaciers is different in dependence of the geographical location of the glacier. For example, you have here the Cordillera Blanca. Is not one of the worst cases. We have different. For example, this is at the northern mountain ranges. This the Cordillera Blanca, Huallanca, Whitewash, Raura. As you see, for example, in the same region, we have two different branches, as Cordillera Blanca and Huallanca, that have a different pace of glacial retreat. Then in the central mountain ranges, for example, we see that the Chonta branch has practically lost all its glacier coverage, and in the southern ranges, we see that the case is worst. For example, this is an example of the retreat of the Pastoruri Glacier. This is the highest glacier in Peru. You see that the retreat has been very marked in the different years. We have here from 1980 to the present, the glacier has lost most of its surface and mass, of course. This is the Yanamarei Glacier also, another example. And we can see here the Uruashahu Glacier. All these examples are very depressing in the way they have lost most of their surface and mass. Then this glacier retreat has associated glacier risks also, as you know. Glacier retreat and global warming can be triggers for ice avalanches and other instabilities in glaciers and periglacial zone. So you see the examples here in this right figure. And these glaciers originate the growth of lagoons, and the excessive growth of these lagoons or the occurrence of certain accidents when the lagoons are in high level can produce very regrettable accidents in the Cordillera, in particularly in the Cordillera Blanca. You can see all the lagoons that are formed because of the glacier retreat, and all these lagoons, or most of these lagoons, are in danger of producing the so-called bluffs that are uncontrolled spillings of water from the lagoon that can cause disasters in the downlaying cities. For example, the city of Huaraz is as some of you know, is the capital of Ancash, which is the department of Peru in which the Cordillera Blanca is located. For example, you see that Huaraz has feeds. So Huaraz takes its water from different lagoons. One of them is the lagoon Palcacocha that caused a very catastrophic flood in 1941, so many years ago in Huaraz. And we have also other lagoons that are also dangerous. And another process is the process of new lagoon formation. All these lagoons are growing from the melting of the glaciers, but we have also the formation of new lagoons. For example, this is an example of a lagoon that formed practically in 2 decades. This is an example of the evolution of a typical glacier, how in the last year, from 2005, for example, for 2020, the glacier has been retreating in a stable way, losing area. You can see here from the photographs the reduction of the glacier and the growth of the lagoon. For example, this is the Palcacocha Lagoon, where I was speaking about some minutes before. That is one of the lagoons that is located above Huaraz. This, as you see, the lagoon feeds from the glacier. Yeah, it formed from the glacier, and it's constantly growing because of the melting of the glacier. In this case, as you see, it's a very common case that Peruvian cities are threatened by the flooding, by the potential flooding that can originate from this lagoon, from the growth of the level of these lagoons. And this is a particular case when a Peruvian farmer, Saul Luciano Lluvia, has sued a German energy company, the RWE AG, for the cause of preventing the glacier Lake Palcacocha from flooding Huaraz. as he had this idea some years ago in 2016, and he has pursued this suing until today. The lake is above Huaraz, and it's growing in volume due to the meltwater input from the receding glaciers. Seeing this settlement would set a groundbreaking precedent that a corporation could be held liable for its contributions to global climate change. Particularly the amount of the claim is not very high, because it considers that this company has only a small part of the liability for climate change in general. The essence of the claim, that many of these companies share the whole responsibility. Then he just chose one of these companies to make them pay for their part of the responsibility. This has been a very complex case, but it has going on. It has gone on all these years, and it's possible that we have good results. If UIA is awarded the damages totaling 17,000 euros, more or less now it will be the same amount in dollars. It will be a minimal expense, for this massive corporation, but it would lay the foundation for much larger suits against all the heavy polluters. Because when all these polluters pay, if he succeeds and this company pays, then probably all other companies that will be sued will have to pay also, and this could be a way to get the money we need for adaptation. Then behind this, there is scientific evidence of anthropogenic origin of glacier retreat. Then in this case, there is a peer-reviewed article published in Nature Geoscience, which asserted that the greenhouse gas emissions have accelerated the retreat of the Parcarajo Glacier above the lake, putting the town at increased risk of devastating flood. The article states that the glacier retreat is entirely attributable to global warming. This statement corroborates UIA's claim that the flood risk is due to climate change, and thus this company should be held partially accountable. This is the reference of the article of R.F. Stuart Smith. In this figure, it is shown the evolution of the Parcacocha Lagoon, as you see. This is the photo of 1939, before the big bluff that occurred in 1941. This is practically by the time of the flood, 1940. As you see, the lagoon is practically on its limits, and how it has been evolving all these years after that time. As you see, from after 2001, the lagoon increased radically its area. We have here the regionally observed and attributable temperature anomalies. This is a modeling work which shows that really the increase in the volume of the lagoon is attributable to temperature anomalies. We have here the plot of the annual mean temperature from the Hadley Center and Crew database, expressed as anomaly from 1850 to 1880. from the period from 1860 to 1880, and the resulting ELA and the contribution of anthropogenic forcing to the observed temperature range. Then, as you see here, the yellow line can simulate the anthropogenic contribution to the anomaly and to the ELA change also. Here you can see the natural variability of anthropogenic climate change in Palcaraju Glacier. As you see, this is the simulated change that could have occurred without climate change, and this is the real contribution of climate change in the 40s and in the present. As we see here the PDF distribution of the change of the retreat of the glacier. Here, the normal distribution of the retreat of the glacier and the observation in the 40s and in the present. As you see, there is a big difference between the simulations in normal conditions and the observations that include climate change. Then, as central ideas of this case, we can see that a quarter of human-induced warming since pre-industrial occurred around the Palcaraju Glacier before 1941. It means that in 1941, where the disaster occurred, then we had already some influence of the climate change. Then for the retreat to 1941, we experienced solely by natural variability at the 90% confidence level. The tip of the glacier in equilibrium with the pre-industrial climate must have been within 200 meters of the position observed in 1940. It means the disaster was most probably caused by climate change at that time already. And it means that this is inconsistent with the early 20th century retreat observed in other part of the Cordillera Blanca and the sensitivity of the glacial length required for the formation of the terminal moraine in the 17th century. All these arguments show the anthropogenic cause of this retreat. Then, as general conclusions, we can see that more than 99% of the remaining tropical glaciers are in the Andes, most of them in Peru. Since 1962, more than 50% of the glacier area has disappeared, and the rest have shown retreat. A great deal of lagoons have formed or increased their volumes of water, potentially causing floods and avalanches. And security works and early alert system has been developed as adaptation measure. And finally, the advance of a case against the German energy company shows a way to compel this type of companies to finance climate change adaptation. Thank you.